We need some music or something.
Mhm.
Oh, it didn't mute us. Good morning, everybody. It's John and Heather. Welcome to the Say Yes podcast, where we help you say yes to all the scary shit. Yes. There's going to be a beep in there somewhere. I know. But good morning. Good morning, Heather. How are you?
Good morning. I am really good. I'm better than I was yesterday. Let's put it that way, if I'm going to be completely honest. So,
Okay.
yes.
Let's explore this because I think there's a lot of good stuff there. Um, Explain. Tell us more.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm going to take you back a few days. So I meditate every day, and I've been doing this now for 3 months, and I use the Oprah Deepak Chopra 21-day challenges. And 3 days ago, I started a new challenge. And the new challenge was the theme of it. So they do 21 days of a theme is how to get unstuck. And I'm going to take you back as I made the decision for that to be the next one. I said to myself, you know what? I don't feel stuck right now. So I don't think this is the right meditation for me, but maybe I'll get some good um, tips and tricks for my clients. Maybe I'll get in the right headspace. Maybe. And so I almost made the decision not to do this as the next meditation challenge. And then that was day 1. Day 2, which was yesterday, I missed it. I didn't do my meditation. And I went into this whirlwind of thinking about the past, thinking about the future. My sister had surgery yesterday, so I was a little bit anxious about that. So there was all this anxiety coming up for me. And this morning, when I went to go do my meditation, I finished my meditation and I had this doubt. I go to track my meditation, give myself a little check mark, and I see I missed yesterday. And it's immediate download, like through my whole body. Oh my goodness. You didn't think you were stuck. You went into old habits yesterday. You went into
Mhm.
getting triggered yesterday. You weren't living in the present yesterday because I was worried about, what was happening with my sister. I was thinking about what's happening with all kinds of things. I wasn't living in the present. And guess what Deepak says today in the meditation? You'll never feel stuck when you live in the present. I'm like, oh my goodness. And I almost feel like I needed that experience because if I would have got the message the day before, I think it would have been too early. I think I wouldn't have heard
Mm.
the message the same way. So I'm actually like celebrating that I went back into old patterns, that I didn't do all of the things that I know make my day the best day possible, because it's a reminder of what is
Mm.
good. So I'm just like, John, I literally just finished my meditation moments before we started this. And I think it's still downloading for me.
I love it. It's so powerful, right? Like it's, as you were saying that, I was thinking of Deepak's voice.
Yes,
You'll
that's
never
why I
feel
love it. I
stuck.
love his voice.
You'll never feel stuck if you live in the present. Yeah, no, I've listened to a lot of his stuff. I love his work. No, but absolutely feeling like just feeling stuck. Actually, for those that are listening, I know we got people listening in right now. How many of you at some point have felt stuck? How many of you have felt like you're not moving forward? And what's really neat about your experience, Heather, is you gave us a process, right? Like you broke it down like, okay, I felt stuck. I didn't know why I felt stuck. You came to today, you realized your routine was out of whack. And that routine, if you're not implementing and running it every day, it's going to throw you off schedule. It's going to put you into a place that you're stuck. But you came to the actualization that you were stuck,
Yeah.
right? And how many times do we feel stuck? And instead of thinking about or being reflective about it, we just say, I'm stuck. Oh my God, I have no idea what I need to do. I've been there. I know I've been there. Actually, I've been there a few times. And yeah, and that reflection piece I think is so important. So for those that are listening, we just got a thumbs up. Thank you for that. For those that are listening, when you get stuck, look at what's different in your day. Look at what's different in your routines. Because if you have a regular routine, this is why routines are so important. So we talk about routines and rituals on another episode, but routines and rituals are so important because they put you into a state,
That's right. That's right.
right?
And what I experienced was going back to old ways of being can happen in an instant when you have
Mhm.
a trigger. And and that whole living in the moment, like I was triggered for, the whole day. And I actually did things throughout the day to untrigger myself, right? I checked in with my brother-in-law to see how my sister was doing, called the kids. I spoke to you yesterday, I spoke to another friend. So I actually thought I was gaining and surrounding myself with the support, but I wasn't helping myself. I was looking for external people to help me, and actually I needed to go internal so that I
Mm.
could be of service to as many people yesterday, because how good am I if I'm not able to, go pick up the kids for my sister, or be there for family members when they're going through these things, or just focusing on the most important stuff. So I think it's really important that we that you hear this lesson from me, that I have been doing this meditation and I thought it was a habit, because what do they say, 21 days to a habit? I've been doing this for 4 months now, every single day, and I missed yesterday, and it
Mm.
actually was because I was stuck. So I went right back to an old habit and decided some other things were more important to do first thing in the morning. And they weren't, quite honestly, they were not. So this morning, I looked at my watch. I'm like, I don't know if I can fit in my 20-minute meditation. And I'm like, yes, you can. And I sat my butt down at that instant. Like there was no hesitation. So, my vitamins are sitting out there that I haven't done that. Like there's a whole bunch of other stuff that I haven't done this morning because I was a little out of sorts still. But I did the meditation and the download was instant. And this is going to stay with me, not just all day. I think this is going to stay with me for the whole meditation, that I'm never stuck when I live in the present moment. So,
Yeah.
that, wow, yeah, this is what downloading looks like. I am not very often without words, but this is when you go, oh my goodness, right in the head, and you just sit with that and sit in the moment. And when you're out of that stuckness, that's when you feel happy and renewed and fresh. But when you're in it, none of those feelings come up. So I want to feel fresh and renewed, and like it's accumulating. Like I'm gonna get off this call and I'm gonna be like, John, let's do this, da, da, da. I'm gonna have all these ideas. I know it's gonna come, right? So I can't wait for that.
Yeah, no, and you got support, and then it's coming up in the chat. Helen's writing, describes something pretty significant. Your sister's surgery. You weren't stuck. You were really about caring about your sister, which is true, right? So sometimes there's those life events that pop into our lives where everything's great, right? Like we have our ideal day, we design our ideal day in our heads, but then something kind of like throws us off track, right?
Yeah.
And that can put so it's those things that throw us off path. But the goal when you're off path, right? When you're off the road, I'm going to call it when you're off the rails, right? The goal is to get back onto the rails as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
And what I loved what you did was you got back on the rails. So this morning you're back on the rails. So you were
That's
off
right.
the rails. The goal is not to stay off the rails too long because it
Yeah.
starts to tax your body. It creates anxiety, it creates stress, it creates a whole bunch of different things in your body that start to manifest in different ways. Right. So, yes, you feel stuck, but you start to feel, oh, I don't have the energy today. Like there's all these things. So, the goal is get back on the rails as quickly as possible. And when you
I
have that moment, you can do that. Right.
I think
So,
you're that is so important. I hear people say, "Oh, I'll start that diet on the first, or I'll do that by Monday." Like, no, it's immediate. Like just
mm,
because you miss one day, it's okay. This is like Helen says,
yeah.
give yourself some grace. This is really important, and make sure that you understand what's happened. Yesterday, I knew that I was that something was off, but I didn't realize that I hadn't followed my own routine till this morning. So sometimes we're so in it, we're so absorbed in thinking about and worrying about with the future state, we're not spending time being in the present state, and that's really really
Mhm.
important. So um I, the rituals that we have in our lives are cornerstones for our success. And so, anybody that's thinking, well, my morning's always crazy and I can't have a ritual because the kids are, crazy and all of this, right? Kids actually are better at rituals than adults are. They love to know what's coming. Now they love to throw curveballs. Let me make sure that I have some sympathy for all the parents with little ones out there. But they also love rituals because they then know what to expect. Rituals of, pancakes on Sunday, rituals of Taco Tuesdays, rituals of, like on this day of the week at school, I wear this color. Whatever those rituals are, they love that because it helps them make good choices. So, involve the whole family in the rituals. But then the other thing that, and John, you're so good at this, is waking up at that really magical hour, right? Earlier than everyone else in the house. Doesn't matter what hour it is, but earlier than everyone else in the house, so that you can actually have that downloading time and that self-care time for yourself. And maybe it's not a 20-minute meditation, maybe it's a 5-minute meditation, but 5 minutes or 20, it's going to give you a different perspective. And that's the invitation that I have. But John, you have rituals that you do every day, and you actually sort of beat yourself up when you don't fulfill them as well, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And actually, so everybody knows this, I've already stated my goal for 2023. One of my big goals for 2023 is this half Ironman that I'm trying to do. Well, actually, that I'm going to do when I'm done. It's going to be awesome. I'm going to feel amazing and strong because I'm an Ironman already. But the exercises, right? I got it every morning. Actually, I feel off kilter when I don't exercise, even if it's for 20 minutes, right? Like it's, today's a rest day for me because I'm, part of my system is doing cleanse days, and I've got my next 2 days are cleanses. So I'm like, okay, I'm not going to go heavy, but I need to do something. So I did a 30-minute low impact ride this morning, which was great because, she taught us, actually, I use Peloton. I'm not endorsing them, but I love their stuff. They get you so centered on the rides, right? And they say, you're here in this moment, you're talking about you being in the moment. They get us in this moment. The instructor that I rode with this morning, her name is Emma Love, which is fantastic. She got us back into the moment. She's like, you're here, right? Don't focus on anything else. You got everything you need right here, right now to do what you need to do. And go at the pace that you need to go at, right? Like you don't have to push yourself too hard. You can do what you want, right? Like going back to my story of the first triathlon I did last year, John saying, go at your own pace. And there's going to be days, and actually I'm going to share this with you because I don't think I shared this yet, but Monday I went for a swim and it was like so tough. Like, no, it wasn't Monday, it was yesterday. It was so tough. I was like so many times in the pool, I'm like, I've done well. I can give up now. That's I know. Well,
this is what happens, right? You negotiate with yourself.
And it's funny. You had an off day yesterday. So did I. There was just, as I was typically when I'm in the pool, I'm doing my exercise. I'm focused on just what I'm doing. I'm focusing on the moment. I'm just focusing on moving forward. And I think about the community around me that's supporting me in this goal. But yesterday there was all this talk, that chatter that was just going on in my head. I'm like, and it was throwing me off to the point where I got halfway into it. I'm like, okay, I just want to quit. Right. And how many times do you feel like that? It's like, I'm just going to quit. And I'm like, I'm just going to do another 100 more in the pool. I'm going to do another 100 more, another 100 more. And I would stop. Like I took more breaks than I would normally take. And I'm like, I'm just going to do another 100 and see how that feels. Right. Because the goal is not to stop. Like I had this goal of doing the longest swim I've ever done in the pool yesterday, which was 2,300 meters. The goal was just to go, right? Like just go. However I need to do it, just get it done, because that's the goal I set for myself in the morning to go do, right?
But I love that. So originally the goal was the longest swim you've ever done. And then you had to switch it to just go. So you didn't, right? Like you didn't say, I'm getting out of the pool. That's it. I'm done. You're like, all right.
I held on to the rail a few times. I was almost there.
You said, just go, and oftentimes I've used that same technique. Like, okay, I got to get my steps in. It's raining out. It's yuck out. Like my dog won't want to come for my walk. No, I gotta go. Put
Yeah.
the hat on, put the gloves, put the mitts on, and you got to go. And so that is a great mantra. But I want to go back to the Peloton because the language that you were sharing that they use is very powerful language. And it's actually what we call embedded commands. And, embedded commands are things that we can hear or say to ourselves that tell us and tell our subconscious different messages. So, things like what I hear the Peloton is you're here right now. You've got everything you need to get through this. And that's an embedded command to tell you that you are okay. Because of course, when that message is coming, you're probably doing an uphill and you feel like you're going to puke, right? So it's exactly when that message is needed. But that is, if anybody subscribes to those kinds of services, listen to the language that they say. And then also check in, do you hear that person's language or voice come in your head later in the day? If you don't, activate it, use them as a guiding point. It's like, I have everything I need right now to get through this. Okay. Because sometimes our own dialogue doesn't work very well because we don't like to listen to ourselves. So just use someone else's voice to get those messages downloaded. John, you're in my head all the time. Sometimes you say things and I'm like, oh, I need to hear that again. And I just imagine hearing you again. And then that message comes into me at the exact moment that I need it. So, think of mentors or people that you look up to that have said different things, and you can just take that message at any time you need. I write it down and I write down who wrote it, and then I just go read it. So it's an embedded command, and it's a powerful NLP process that I love hearing in practice.
Yeah, I know. I want to share something because I haven't shared this yet. So 2019, I went to an event, and at these events, you always meet people. And randomly, yesterday, I got a message from somebody who remembered a line that I said, right? And they said, I can't remember specifically, but she took a picture, and I'll post it, and hopefully it doesn't get removed by LinkedIn. It says, shit happens, flush it, and move on, right? And it was one of the things that we had in a conversation back in 2019, and it stuck. And I'm like, oh my gosh, really? Like, you don't even know the impact you're making on people with the things that you're saying every single day.
Yeah.
And I love that because, we say things, right? And, exactly. I hear you in my head too. It's like, John, just go. I'm like, what the heck? I think about my community. I think about the tribes, right? Like the people that are moving forward with me. I actually did a TikTok on this yesterday. When I was in the pool, the one thing that kept me going was, you know what, you got this. Just keep going. Just keep going. Keep going. Like, it wasn't even my voice at that point. It was somebody else's voice just moving me. So, I know you have the big goal. We both have a goal of trying to impact 1 million people this year. But the things that you say resonate with people, and it sticks, right? Especially in those moments when things get tough.
Yeah.
So be very aware of the language that you're using with others. Whether it's your colleagues, it's your coworkers, it's your family, like those are all things that are going to stick, and they're going to remember those things.
And if I could do the like our call to action like this, if you're wondering what to say or you're thinking to yourself, oh, you know what, I don't say anything that's important or impactful, just think of who you were 6 months or 8 months ago. And what would you say to yourself? What were the messages that you need to hear? And that's the message you give to someone else, because we live through our experiences, and you've already experienced yourself, that person that needed to hear some messages 6 months ago. So that's the message you give out to the universe. And that is so simple, because it's like, well, what would I want to learn 6 months ago? Oh, I needed to hear that I'm good enough, or I wanted to hear I've got this, or I have all the resources I need, or maybe I was lacking a little bit of confidence, or maybe I was lacking a little bit of positivity, whatever that was. Give that message out to the universe, and someone in your immediate circle needs to hear that today. And sometimes I'll send voice notes, sometimes I'll do video notes, so you can do that and make it very individualized. But you can also just try it on with lots of people. Go grab your coffee at Starbucks and give that message to the barista. It doesn't matter who you impact, as long as you're doing it with an intention to be of service to others. So I'm excited. Like, what's everyone going to teach today? We're all going to be teachers out there doing that ripple effect.
Yeah, no, I love that. I'm gonna go get a coffee and I'm gonna go say something nice to the barista and just thank them for what they're doing for me. But no, absolutely, just impact, right? And think about impact, things that you're saying, things that you're doing for the world. It's oh man, like it gets you. We talked about being stuck. It's one of those other ways of getting unstuck, right? When you step
Totally.
out of yourself and you serve others, it gets you out of that place of feeling stuck and feel like you're not moving forward. So,
And
so
if
you
you're in the
have.
present moment, you're never stuck. If you're in the
Yeah,
present moment, you're never stuck. So if you're sharing what you've learned, that is the present moment. That is another example of being in the present moment. So, yay, let's be in the present moment. Let's get unstuck. Let's be easy on ourselves, like Helen gave as advice. Absolutely.
mm,
And let's just go. Let's just go. Let's make it
just
happen, John.
just go, just go.
See, I told you
Excellent.
it's like accumulated. Woo, woo, woo.
All right, so just a quick thing. We do have the masterclass replay available if you want to check that out. We do have our upcoming mastermind coming up next week, so you can look into that as well. Again, it's about community, it's about support, it's about moving people forward. And if you need or have any questions in and around those things, by all means, connect with us. If you be in the present moment, good. Thank you, Gunjan, for for the message. If you're feeling stuck, you got this, Helen. I
That's
like. I
right.
can feel the energy on the other side of the screen. Like, yes, yes, yes. It's good. I'm starting to pop out of my skin now. All right, so I've shared. We'll share the link to the masterclass, the replay, if you want to check that out, and our upcoming mastermind as well. With that, happy Wednesday, everybody. We will see you on Friday. Take
Bye,
care.
everyone.